This is the WQA Podcast from the Water Quality Association, the leading voice of the water treatment industry. And hello, I'm your host, Wes Bleed.
Education is really one of our biggest motivating factors for our members, and keeping them abreast of all the latest technologies, but also the hot topics in the industry like PFAS, saltwater intrusion, and things like that. So that's what we really work hard in trying to listen to our members and see what they need to be most successful.
That's Cindy Schieber with Stenner Pump Company and Vice President of the Florida Water Quality Association, talking about the focus of FWQA. And welcome to the WQA Podcast from the Water Quality Association, promoting better water quality around the world. If you're joining us for the first time or new to the industry, welcome. Be sure to subscribe to the podcast so you never miss a show. That is the magic of podcasting. And be sure to share the podcast with someone on your team or somebody else you know. We now feature our podcasts on WQA's YouTube channel. Go to youtube.com/@WaterQualityAssociationVideos. And in this episode, we feature a conversation with the Florida Water Quality Association leadership, FWQA President Jeff Sadonis with All American Purification, Vice President Cindy Schieber, and Executive Director Suzanne Trueblood. We talk about water treatment issues in Florida, the FWQA Convention coming up in June, and the value of the WQA Convention coming up in Orlando, March 5th through the 7th, 2024. Now let's get into the conversation with FWQA on our WQA Podcast. Well, we are going to talk about the Florida Water Quality Association today, and we have three guests, folks from FWQA with us on the podcast, and we're excited to talk to, first of all, Suzanne Trueblood, who's the Executive Director. We also have Jeff Sadonis, who is the president right now of FWQA. Jeff is general manager of All American Purification in Venice, Florida. And for those of you who don't know Florida that well, it's a little bit south of Sarasota. And that's always a good kind of a geographical connection point there. And then Cindy Schieber is the vice president of FWQA. She'll be taking over as president in June when they meet for their convention. We'll talk more about that. She is the channel partner and sales manager for Stenner Pumps. And so, Jeff, let's go to you and just tell us a little bit about FWQA and your members and what you got going on these days.
Getting ready for our convention as well as you guys are. That's where we're at, but we have a good group of members. We have a strong core of members that have been with us for decades, and constantly picking up new ones, and just really wanting to branch out and educate.
Yeah, so that's great to hear that you're growing if you're picking up new members. And is that because that there is a sense of the need for what FWQA can offer to the dealers and the water treatment professionals in Florida?
I think so. Florida's booming population-wise right now, and with that comes new businesses opening. There are a lot of water treatment dealers in the state of Florida. We're a very big market for water treatment down here, and with the influx of population, like I said, comes more businesses, and it's our priority to wrangle some of them in, get them to adhere to the code of ethics, get them as members of not only our association, but encourage them to join on the national level as well.
So, Suzanne, that means it's a little busier time for you as well, just kind of keeping everything together from the executive position, I would assume.
Yes, sir, that's true, but it's an exciting time.
Yeah, tell me more about that.
Well, we have a lot of things coming up, and we're looking forward to it. We are going to be doing some proactive education of our legislators. Florida has a very short window for the legislative season, which is 60 days. Their priority is they must have a balanced budget prior to leaving for recess. So we will be visiting up in Tallahassee, which is our state capital, in February, first part of February, to meet with some of our state legislators and their associates to make sure that we try to communicate to them the importance of using FWQA.
Oh, that's fantastic. And what else is going on as far as the member outlook and mindset these days? Let's go to you, Cindy, and just kind of give us your sense of what you're seeing and hearing.
Well, one of the consistent challenges that we hear is finding good employees. And so one thing we try to offer up as an organization is through our education and getting the members to bring their technicians to our events, whether it be our fall education seminar or our convention, is to show value to those employees. And it definitely elevates their position, and it also sets them up better for success. So like Jeff was saying, show value to those employees, and it definitely elevates their position, and it also sets them up better for success. So like Jeff was saying, education is really one of our biggest motivating factors for our members, and keeping them abreast of all the latest technologies, but also the hot topics in the industry like PFAS, saltwater intrusion, and things like that. So that's what we really work hard in trying to listen to our members and see what they need to be most successful.
And Jeff, are there any unique challenges in Florida? Any unique water treatment issues or things that you're hearing more than others?
Florida's very unique because we're very shallow down here. Our wells are very shallow, so our well water customers, everything's shallow. We have a lot of saltwater intrusion down here, which is pretty unique, and it varies. I mean, from my location where I am to the middle of the state, completely different water. So by location, completely different treatment methods. So when we get together at these gatherings, the conventions and everything, it's good to hear the different types, the way people are tackling problems, and how you could use that information in your area.
So the saltwater intrusion, explain a little bit more for somebody like me who doesn't have a good handle on that.
Yeah, well, most of the wells in my area off the coast, you're 70 to 90 feet deep. You go any deeper than that and you are in the Gulf of Mexico. So for a well driller, drilling a well, it's very important that our clients get a driller that is local to the area, knows what he's doing, knows what he's drilling, to get the best water possible. And the problem with the shallow well is you're also, with a shallow well comes iron and tannin. So finding that balance of usable water is a challenge for the well driller, and then it's our job as a dealer to clean it up and deliver great quality water.
Yeah, certainly sounds like you've got a number of challenges there. So, Suzanne, what kinds of calls are coming into the FWQA these days from consumers? What kinds of questions or, problems, or are there concerns that you have to deal with, like, door-to-door scams, that sort of thing?
We've been very fortunate recently, within the last year, to have the door-to-door solicitation scams decreasing. And honestly, I have not had a call about that within the last 10 or 12 months. There are some very interesting things coming along, though. I had an interesting one the other day where a dealer called me and a unit had been installed, and the insurance person told them that, oh no, that's installed all wrong. You have to do it in this kind of pipe, and if you don't do that, then your insurance is going to go up $7,000 and all of this. And he says, when he called me, he says, this is all to code. And I said, well, you need to go to your county and make sure your city, depending on who oversaw the installation approval, and communicate that. And once you get the ruling from them, then you need to communicate that back to the insurance company. And insurance is quite an issue in Florida. It's a huge issue. Homeowners insurance, and this was a homeowners insurance, is many times non-existent. It doubles or triples in the premiums every year due to the hurricanes. And it doesn't matter if you're on the interior or you're on the coast. Florida gets to participate in the increase no matter where you are. So it turned out that this was an insurance person that had been allowed to make these claims just to increase the premium. So, again, it comes back to the education, knowing that you've installed it properly, knowing that you have what you need because you've been involved with FWQA and you have a resource to come back to. So it's interesting how it all does come back to really being educated about what you are doing and that you're doing it correctly and that it truly is serving the consumers out there.
Let me segue over to the point about the convention that we had mentioned briefly before. You have your convention every June, do you not, Suzanne?
Yes, sir, we do. We've done that for a long time. And one of the main reasons we started that was to try to encourage people to bring their families and make it a very family-friendly event.
Well, give me the basics for that, and then we'll segue again over to the WQA Convention, which is in March in Orlando. So let's talk first about where and when for you in June.
Well, our June convention this year will be June the 12th through the 14th. It will be based at the Caribe Boreal Resort in Orlando. We also have a great get-together at the golf course on the 12th, so that makes it a very nice networking opportunity. On the 13th and 14th, we have full educational sessions. We try to make sure, in conjunction with WQA, that they are certified, because we also want to always be sure that we are presenting factual, certified information. Another highlight is our trade show that we have. Not quite as large as WQA, but we are a state association.
Of course.
So it would expect it to be smaller. We've been very, very happy, and we've had wonderful returns on our exhibitors because they seem to like the format we're using and the turnouts that we get for them. We try to also include networking times and opportunities in a social environment so that our members get to know each other. They have time to talk casually with some of the speakers and get lots of great information to take back and use for their businesses.
All right. And more information, I'm sure, is available at FWQA.com, correct? Okay. Well, great. And Cindy, let's make that segue, as I mentioned, over to the WQA convention. I'm very excited to know that your members, I'm sure, will be looking forward to the fact that the WQA convention is in Orlando as well.
Yes, we are extremely fortunate that you guys will be coming to Orlando for your national convention. And it's a great opportunity for our members as well because it's right in our backyard. So it makes it easy access for folks to bring their entire teams to a lot of comprehensive education that you guys have at the national convention, such as, starting off with the business boot camp, which is really important. If anybody has never done that before, I would certainly encourage the dealers out there to give that a shot because I've heard nothing but great things, great ideas that folks come out of that with. So not only do you have the business boot camp, but you guys also offer exhibitors from around the world. So they really do get a chance to see the latest in technologies. Whereas, on our state level convention, it's great because they get to network with the folks they work with on a daily basis. This is a unique opportunity for them to interact with folks that they wouldn't see anywhere else. So I think they're very lucky that you guys are coming to Orlando this year.
Yeah, and that's March 5th through the 7th, as far as the dates go. That boot camp you mentioned is March 4th, one day before the convention gets going. We also have year 2 of our WQRF Symposium, which I don't know if you heard about that last year, but that was quite a success as it dealt with PFAS. And I know we were talking about that earlier. So, Jeff, what comes to mind in terms of what you like about the national show?
The education, the networking. The education's good. I mean, I like to attend as many classes as I can. And speaking from the FWQA standpoint is, obviously we try to follow the WQA as close as we can. But where to our benefit is you guys are in March. We get to see what you're offering. So we try not to overlap a lot of classes unless we see there's a huge turnout, a lot of questions. Then we can follow back and now give our members on our trade show a second look at it. Maybe find another way to spin the topic. So it's very exciting to have you in town because we like to see what you're
Well, and then we have one of your past presidents, Amanda Moore, as our president this year.
Yeah.
So I would imagine it would be a great idea to have as many folks from Florida turning out to support her.
Yeah, we're very proud of her. And like when I was coming up through the board, Amanda was the president here. So I learned a lot of from not knowing much about the FWQA board at all to where I am today. I attribute a lot of that to not only Suzanne, but to Amanda.
Amanda grew up in the industry.
She did.
And having been around like forever, I can remember Amanda as a kid coming to the convention with her parents. So it's been a privilege for me to see how active she's been in the industry and what a great president I feel she's been for WQA.
Absolutely.
But now you have to give her that.
Yep, we're looking forward to seeing all of you down there in a very, very short time. WQA.org/convention to get all the details and to register. And if you're, again, looking for information about the Florida Water Quality Association, go to FWQA.com. So Suzanne, Jeff, Cindy, thanks so much for joining us on the podcast. We look forward to seeing you again very, very soon. And our WQA tip, a reminder that WQA Business Bootcamp, the WQRF Symposium, and the RO Sizing Workshop all take place one day before the convention opens on March 4th. Go to WQA.org/convention to learn more and to register, or to go back to your registration if you've already signed up and add one of those pre-convention programs to your trip. You won't be disappointed. Thanks for joining us for this episode of the WQA Podcast from the Water Quality Association, the leading voice of the water treatment industry. Learn more about WQA professional certification, product certification, and how you can become a member at WQA.org. This is Wes Bleed. So long from the Water Quality Association.